Hello book lovers, my name is Carrie and this is Spines and Spoilers. As you can see, we're trying out the selfie stick model again. One day I will have a workstation set up again. One day it's gonna happen. Today I want to talk about something that I haven't really done in a little bit, I'm pretty sure, and that is my TBR for April. First, however, I like to talk about what I am reading and what I am drinking. What I am drinking is coffee from an elephant cup. Now, are these cups almost entirely unusable and inefficient? 100%. They have this weird lip that makes it so the coffee sloshes on you every once in a while, but I'm trying to be very, very careful. I haven't splashed anything on myself yet. I'm so proud. And you can see I don't have much left, so I'm doing pretty well. And as far as for what I am reading goes, I am reading Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones, which is also coincidentally the first book that I'm going to be reading in April of 2025. Now, I don't have much to say about it so far because I just started reading it. I am enjoying it so far. I'm going to use that just as a segue into the actual list and put this as the first one on the list. It is essentially about vampires. Indigenous vampires. I think it's actually more about the 217 indigenous Blackfeet individuals who died in the snow back in 1912. The story is told through the lens of a Lutheran pastor's diary. I'm very interested to see how things shape out through his perspective. I guess we'll see. It's a Stephen Graham Jones book, so I'm sure that I'm going to end up loving it, and it is one of the new releases that I was most excited about. The next book that I want to read in April 2025 is You Are Fatally Invited by Andy Pleasure. This one, from what I understand, is a bit of a whodunit. From what I hear, it's extremely tropey and kind of reminds people of The Glass Onion. It is essentially about a millionaire hosting a writing retreat on an island for these various writers. Little does this millionaire know that the person who's helping them plan it has beef with one of the writers and plans to kill them. However, a different person ends up getting killed that she didn't plan on, and they have to figure out who did it and why. Also, I know my hands are restless. This is part of why I don't always have books, because I talk with my hands when I do. It sounds kind of cheesy, tropey. I'm kind of eager to read it, especially when I have so many books with really heavy topics on the docket for this month. This next book is one that I've actually had for a minute, and I think I've hyped myself up too much for it, and I'm worried that it's going to disappoint me, so I haven't read it yet. And that is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. I love Grady Hendrix, though. I've loved every single thing that I've read by him, so I figured it would be a good bet. I almost never buy books if I haven't read them first, but in this case I did. No pressure, Grady Hendrix. This book, though, circulates around some pregnant teenagers who end up essentially sent off to a convent. They're considered wayward girls because this takes place back in the 70s, I believe, and teenage girls who ended up pregnant were called wayward girls. But they end up in this place where the adults are incompetent and controlling and treat them like crap, except for the librarian, of course, because she's a librarian, who starts teaching them about the occult, which is maybe less like the typical librarian. I'm really interested to see how this turns out and how that ends up influencing the overall story, though. Now, this next book is about an extremely serious, sensitive topic. I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, if you act up in my comment section, I will delete your comment. Just gonna go ahead and get that out there. With that being said, the next book that I want to read in April is Being Jewish After the Destruction of Gaza. For this one, I'm not going to invite any more controversy. I'm just going to read the summary on the back. Over the last year, I've struggled with the way many Jews, including people I cherish, have justified the destruction of an entire society. This book is about the stories Jews tell ourselves that blind us to Palestinian suffering. It's about how we came to value a state, Israel, above the lives of all the people who live under its control, and it's about why I believe the Palestinian liberation means Jewish liberation as well. My hope is that even people who disagree fervently with my arguments will feel that it was written in a spirit of Jewish solidarity, and that in some small way it might contribute to the struggle for Palestinian freedom, while also opening a conversation within the Jewish communities and families ruptured by this horrifying war. Now, I am not inviting debate to the comments. Do not take it as that. As I said, I will be deleting any shitty comments. We're not doing that. This isn't the time or place. I'm partially reading this because of the fact that I have Jewish family members, and it's a pretty divisive subject for them as well. Now for a major tone shift, though, the next book that I want to read in April is Finlay Donovan Digs Her Own Grave by El Casamano. This is, I think, the 5th book in this series, the Finlay Donovan series. Not positive, it's 5th or 6th. I'm losing track. These books are delightful, they're cheesy. If you just want something light to take your mind off things and escape for a while, they're good for that. In this book, a body is found in Finlay's neighbor's backyard, and of course, because it's a Finlay Donovan book, her husband is the one who ends up being the main suspect in the case, so she has to figure out how to clear his name. The next book that I want to read in April is Famous Last Words by Gillian Anderson. This one is essentially about a hostage situation. Basically, a woman just gave birth a couple of months ago, and this is supposed to be her first day back at work. She comes downstairs from getting ready, though, and finds that her husband is missing, and there is a note. And soon she turns on the news to see that there is a hostage situation, and her husband is the one at the middle of it. Her husband is the one holding people hostage, and she's trying to figure out what's going on, why it's going on, and why her otherwise rational, kind, stable husband has ended up in this situation. The last book that I want to read in April is actually another nonfiction book. It's Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. I don't think I really need to go in depth about this one. It's just about tuberculosis. It is a non-fiction book written by John Green. I actually haven't read a lot of John Green's work, so this should be interesting. From what I know of the author, though, I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy this more than his fictional work. As I'm filming every once in a while, I just see this in the background. Like, they're watching, waiting, configurating. But that is all the books that I want to read in April of 2025. Will I read them all? Probably not. Will there be other books thrown in there that weren't on this list? Possibly. I am going to the library again tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, though. I appreciate it way more than you know. Like, why are you here? How did you get here? Thanks for being here, though. I hope that you've had a good year so far and that you're staying safe. Feel free to like and share and subscribe and all that jazz if you want to. But ultimately, what is most important to me is that you remember to love yourself. Okay, bye!